Hey everybody, this is HD. Welcome back. It's time for another HD broadcast, and today I've actually got my good friend and fellow Starcraft 2 player. I'm sure you guys have all heard of him. He is Pain User, and he's going to be helping me co-commentate this game today. I'm actually a little bit under the weather. I'm a little bit sick, so I'm really glad that you're here right now with me, Pain User. Why don't you go ahead and say what's up to the fans out there who are here watching this game?
It's a pleasure to be here. Hey guys, what's up? It's Pain User, and we're going to be casting a game between Squirtle and IdrA at the IEM Intel Extreme Masters Tournament, and I'm really excited to see this game because I haven't watched it yet, and Squirtle has been absolutely ripping it up in GOM TV's GTSL Team League. He actually took out, I believe it was an MVP on Korean TV in the team league. So
wow, if he took out IM MVP, I think he was the winner of GSL season 3 or one of the main GSL seasons, and IM MVP is really good. I've actually never heard of Squirtle before. Obviously I know who IdrA is, Pain User, but I'm really excited to see this game. This was I believe it's a best of 5 in the IEM, and obviously Protoss versus Zerg. It's not none of your main races, it's one of my main races, so I'm a little bit biased in this matchup, and hopefully you can maybe you can keep this a little unbiased for the viewers out there who are watching this series of games unfold.
Well, there isn't a Terran playing, so I'm equally unbiased at this point. But I do have a little bit of love for the Zerg. I feel like Zerg could use a little bit of love in some of the next patch updates. Hopefully they get a little bit of that love, and especially against Protoss. Like it seems like
you know that one of the most difficult things to deal with, I'm speaking as a Zerg player, is the Protoss death ball, man. I mean, like, I'm always casting by myself, so I never have someone to actually conversate with, but honestly, like, now that you're here, I love talking about this. The Protoss death ball is one of the most difficult things for me to deal with as a Zerg player. It's brutal, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. It's Void Rays and Colossus.
I mean, absolutely. Like, I don't have too much experience with the matchup. Sometimes I'll off race as Zerg and play against Protoss players, but I watch a lot of replays and I watch a lot of games, and it just seems incredibly difficult. It's like once the game, it's like at the beginning of the game, there's an hourglass full of sand that's turned, and time is not on your side. It's like the longer the game goes on, and the more of those high-tier units, like you mentioned, Void Ray Colossus is an insanely good composition.
Very powerful, yeah.
It's gonna shred any kind of like what's the counter to Colossus? You're
Corruptors, or even Mutas, but obviously Void Rays are very good against both Corruptors and fairly good against Mutas as well. So yeah, that's one of the most difficult things to deal with as Zerg. I'm wondering how IdrA's gonna deal with Squirtle. Obviously, I've never seen Squirtle play. You said, I think you mentioned he's a Korean player, right?
Yeah, he is from Korea. I don't think he's made it up into Code S or anything like that yet. He's extremely young. I think he's like 16 years old or something. And I don't think. Well, MVP is definitely like one of the best Terran players. I don't know that he won a GSL, but he's up there. He's definitely one of the best Code S players, and he was taken out, I believe, by Squirtle. So he's a really talented player. He's been getting a lot of love recently from the media. Artosis did an interview on him. He's really quiet, really shy, and they asked him about how he got his name Squirtle. And he like shied away from the camera and backed away from Artosis. So he's a pretty funny guy, but he's definitely a very talented StarCraft player, and he's a force to be reckoned with. And he demolished some really good players at IEM.
Right, and for all of you guys who are wondering out there, Code S is actually the premier league in South Korea right now for StarCraft 2. Code A is slightly behind Code S. So just a little bit of information for all you guys out there who might not be tuning in to those kind of things, and I'm giving you guys that lowdown so you guys are aware. It looks like Squirtle here has gone with 3 warp gates, or at least 3 gateways. He's about to get warp gate, and this is very standard. A lot of times the Protoss player will either go 3 gate into Nexus, or they'll go 3 gate and add on a Stargate. But I think this time around Squirtle's interested in getting a Nexus. I think he's going to send the probe out, throw the Nexus down, and IdrA, of course, is going to try to block this for as long as possible. But, you know, with only 4 Zerglings, what can you do?
I mean, he's just doing everything he can. Didn't lose a Ling right there, delayed it by a few seconds, and look to see Squirtle making a ton of sentries. Right there, he already warped in 3 more sentries. He's going to continue to up that sentry count, because when you produce that many sentries early on,
the energy builds up, right?
Not only are you allowing the energy to accumulate, by the time the next big fight happens, think of it this way. If you have 10 sentries with full energy, that's 40 force fields for the next big fight. You could draw a heart around his army for all you care. It doesn't really matter. I mean, At that point, it just becomes a game of like, how does Zerg deal with that many forces?
I think IdrA's the last player you want to draw a heart around. IdrA would be very, very mad about that.
Well, he'd just be like, what is this? What are you doing?
Leaves the game.
So yeah, it will be interesting to see how IdrA deals with this. And it looks like Squirtle's moving out a little bit.
Yeah.
Probably not going to commit to this, just kind of feigning the attack.
Yeah.
But it is going to get IdrA to commit to a ton of units. And if you look there, he's already producing 16 Zerglings. And those could all be drones. So
right. This is actually really standard. This is really smart for any top level player against Zerg. The most standard way to play Zerg is just to build up the most strongest economy in the game. And all you have to do to really interrupt that is just move out a little bit and fall back. You don't have to commit to an attack. And like you said, now 16 Zerglings could have been 8 drones. And now the other thing is these Zerglings can't hit air. And as we can see, Squirtle has added on a Stargate and he's chrono boosting a Void Ray out.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Getting this Void Ray out is going to allow him to retain map control. He'll be able to pick off a few of those overlords in key positions. Probably just going to go straight to this overlord in mid, take it out. And it's really important to get rid of all that sight and valuable information. He's also getting out a Phoenix, so that's going to help clear out additional overlords. He'll be able to scout the whole map. So right now, Squirtle's really just establishing a lot of map dominance, and he's making IdrA afraid of, because IdrA really doesn't know, one, he doesn't know how many Stargates Squirtle has, and two, he doesn't know how many Void Rays he's going to produce. So he's, not only did he get IdrA to commit to a bunch of units early on, now he's probably going to get him to commit to some sort of anti-air defense. So it's like 2 stages of getting IdrA to switch to unit types that he wants him to switch to. So now after this phase, he's getting IdrA to make these Hydras. He can switch back into Colossus, say, and just he'll have a huge advantage in terms of just strictly unit composition.
Yeah, and speaking of which, like you said, now he's thrown what? Evolution Chamber down, he's got Hydralisk Den. I don't see him throwing any Spore Crawlers yet, and really you don't need Spore Crawlers unless your opponent's committing to 3 or more Phoenix, which Squirtle right now seems to be adding on quite a few Phoenix. If we look at his Stargate, I think it's stopped production as of now. So I think IdrA feels confident that his Queens combined with his Hydralisk will be able to deal with this Phoenix. Looks like one drone there gets picked off as IdrA was trying to get that hatchery down. So right now Squirtle's doing a great job with this air harass. He's keeping IdrA on the back foot, and he's forcing IdrA, like he said, to build these Hydras, which are going to be so vulnerable to the Colossus, which it looks like we're going to be seeing some Colossus pretty soon. So very good play from Squirtle so far. Yeah,
absolutely. And denying that third was actually a pretty big deal as well.
Yeah, that was
Picking
nice.
off that drone was really nice. It's just going to delay IdrA's third by that much more. And really, as a Protoss player, like, that's like his only big fear right now, is that IdrA is gonna run ramp. See, and there he goes. He's trying to deny the third again. I don't think that he's gonna get it this time. There's
no, definitely not. Not with the 2 Hydras and the Queen, even though they're really slow. I mean, these guys are so slow without creep.
You can do it.
Yeah.
Look at them. That's ridiculous.
And that's why IdrA brings in the Overlord right there to spew some creep. That's really smart, actually. And note, though, on the map... Oh, we just had an Overlord die there. Note that on the map, if you guys look right now on the mini-map, really good creep spread by IdrA. This is so good. It's only 11 minutes in the game, and his creep has already penetrated through the midway point on the map. This is going to be so important as the game starts to unfold and the battles start to occur. This creep is going to help those slow Hydras and even those Queens if they need to maneuver around the map.
That's the beauty of having that extra. Does he have a Queen at his main right now?
Oh, I'm sure he has a Queen. Yeah,
okay,
he
so he has 2 extra Queens.
Yeah, just moving around.
Just moving around, and they have all that extra energy just to place just to poop out creep tumors everywhere. That's all they really need to do.
There's plenty of room for royalty in the Starcraft technology, Starcraft world. So I think right now we're going to see Squirtle push out a little bit. He's grabbing his 3rd expansion. IdrA wisely moves his Overlord there. He scouts the Nexus going up, and we might see a big collision right here. Squirtle needs to be careful, though. If he engages on the creep, that could spell disaster. At the same time, IdrA has to be careful. His main is being attacked, and his 3rd expansion is being attacked. So really right now, IdrA forced to pull his attention away to deal with both the Phoenix and the Void Ray at the back. I think this Void Ray will be pushed away. So Squirtle, just at the very last second, pulls his Void Ray away with 28 HP and shows how good he is at controlling his units and never losing. These units right here are what's keeping IdrA on the back foot. Should he lose these, IdRA's going to gain a huge advantage.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's really... Squirtle's just doing what he can where he can. I mean, right now he's keeping IdrA moving his entire army between his natural and his 3rd, and he's using 3 units. He's using a Void Ray and 2 Phoenixes, and he's picking off Overlords, he's picking off units where he can. He hasn't lost any of them, so He's doing a great job, and now he's launching this death push through mid, and it's going to be really hard for IdrA to stop this.
This is only 1 Colossus strong right now. It really gets scary when the Protoss gets around 4 Colossus plus, even 3, and you combine that with the large Void Ray count. Exactly what we were talking about before, Pain User, is that mass ball of Void Rays and Colossus. And we can actually see that IdrA built a lot of Corruptors. There's about 8 Corruptors on the map right now. Those Corruptors, that might be a little bit much because really there's not that much air right now. There's just 2 Colossus. We'll see how this works out. Great force field, splitting the Roaches and Hydras and making some of the Roaches get caught off from the rest of the army, and those Roaches are going to get absolutely demolished. Meanwhile, IdrA will pick off all the Colossus, which is really good, but with continual force fields, like you said, from those sentries from early on in the game, they have so much energy racked up. I think that Squirtle will be able to kill off most of that army, and he won't have to commit. He can fall back and continue his reinforcements.
And now he's got that other Colossus that just came in for reinforcements. He's picking off more Roaches, more Hydras. It looks like IdrA's just overcommitting here. I really don't think he has. I really don't think he has that big of an advantage.
Could be close.
Right now.
Nice contaminate right there, though.
Yeah, that was good, but he's got these slow Hydras off of creep trying to push into Squirtle's natural, and it seems like Squirtle's going to have enough time to reinforce and launch a really powerful counter push here.
Yeah, whoops, I meant to say corrupt. I always get confused with the corruption spell and the contamination spell. But it looks like IdrA may be taking advantage of this position here as he's so close to the Protoss natural. He will kill off this Colossus very easily. I'm surprised that Squirtle's continuing to make Colossus as there are so many Corruptors on the field right now. I would honestly expect to see maybe more Void Rays, but no, Squirtle's gonna GG out of here.
Wow. Hydras are so good against gateway units.
Yeah.
The key right there was him picking off all of those Colossus. It just put him in a great situation. Like, even though the Hydras were so slow, he had enough of a Hydra count that he was able to just annihilate those gateway units.
That was really insane. I actually was agreeing with you there.
Yeah.
How he moved off the creep. I thought IdrA might have been in trouble, but IdrA showed like, hey, through raw strength and Hydras. Note also he had 2 armor on his Hydras.
I think,
and 1 weapons on his Corruptors.
Another thing that played a huge factor there was that Squirtle also lost all of his sentries, so he had no force fields to prevent IdrA from entering into his natural right there. It was like he almost just had a free pass to just walk right up into the natural. And when you start getting into a situation where it's like 2 Hydras on each Stalker, Hydras just decimate gateway units.
Hydras are amazingly good against gateway units. So basically, Squirtle hands him a free voucher for a victory in game 1. But don't forget, this is a best of 5, so stick around. We're going to have game number 2 coming up soon. I also want to mention that Pain User is, I wanted to go ahead and talk to you guys about Pain User's website and YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/thestratbunker. The Stratbunker or Stratbunker?
Just youtube.com/Stratbunker.
Right, and also stratbunker.com, I believe. So, yeah, go ahead and check those out, guys. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in the next game. Game 2, coming up soon.